Everybody, how are we all doing today? It's Groovy Tuesday again. Fingers crossed, everything's working okay, and we should be. I'm using the new bit of software again, so hopefully, yep. Stuart's in the room with you today. Julie's got a week's holiday, so the lovely Stuart's in the room with you. So if you have any questions, then feel free to ask away, and Stuart will point you in the right direction. Good morning, Karen. Nice to see you. Here we go. Carol and Karen. Wow, how lovely is that? Super duper. Oh dear, very windy out there today. You may even it's like really sort of blowing a strong wind. So hopefully, fingers crossed, no technology issues today, and we may hear the gust of wind just coming through. So here you are. Good morning, everybody. Happy Groovy Tuesday. Wow. Did you have a good bank holiday? It seemed that it was weird, wasn't it? It was sort of, although you can go places, but you can't go places. Very, very strange. I didn't really go anywhere. No, it didn't. Caught up on a bit of TV, caught up on some sleep. Just little bits and pieces, really. The time just flew by. Sort of all out of sync, though, because I think it should be Monday, but it's not. It's Tuesday. So luckily I remembered today was Groovy Tuesday. So yeah, and we're playing with Barbara's beautiful Paisley plate. Do you remember last week I showed it off to you, and loads of you have purchased it. So we're going to have a play and we're going to explore this over the next couple of weeks. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes to join the party. It's not quite 10 o'clock yet, but yeah, isn't this gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, that's what we're going to have a look at today and over the coming weeks, because it's a beautiful plate for honing those skills like the white work, the colouring, the picot cutting. Really gorgeous. And remember last week I showed you how you could break out the different sections. Let's have a look at those again while we wait for everybody to come in. So when you look, you've got 9 beautiful designs on the plate, and this one here in the top left hand corner, this is the actual design, and then I've just broken it down just to show the versatility of the design and how you can sort of really break it down and really indulge the different elements. So we have that one there. So and it's hard to work out which one's my favorite now. We have this one here. Somebody said that this one, see if you turn it, it looks different. Someone said that that looked a bit like a guitar. Absolutely gorgeous. But look, I love this. You've got these little sprigs of flowers, perfect for the little corners. Really nice. And then we've got the next one. See, I love this one. So I love this element. Gorgeous. But look how you can just break it down into the various different sections. It's crazy, really, when you think about it. And for me, that's one of the great things about the Groovi system, is that you can pick and choose all the different elements. I mean, look, that just sprig of leaves is so useful for infilling, for adding into your borders. Really nice. And then this is the one we're going to have a look at today, and we're going to break it down, and we're going to do something really nice with this, because I really love the effect of this one. And again, breaking it down into the different sections. Really nice. Then we have this next one. This one reminded, I don't know why, it sort of reminded me of an octopus. I don't It's funny how you see different things, isn't it, when you look at the different designs. And then I thought this was really sort of, I thought this was a nice retro one. Look, just by using those 2 elements alone. Really nice. And then the little lines. See, even that. Look, you could practice your picot cutting in there. You can infill them. If you've got Josie's beautiful embossed sampler plates, these would be fantastic for infilling on the designs. Then we have this one, which keeps reminding me of a little birdie. It really does. You've got like the wing, the body, you've got the eye, just needs a little beak. And look, you've got the wings, so you can have the wings decorated or undecorated. And then finally, this one here. Again, that beautiful leaf in there with the veins, without the veins. Great for sort of creating your different apertures and everything else. So, are we all ready to get rocking and rolling? So today, what I thought we'd do, we're going to head, I've done the completed piece, but I've left it disassembled so we can really sort of break it down. And we're going to do it in stages over the coming weeks. Okay. And what I thought would be lovely was to make a little bookmark. So let me bring this one in here. Let's go to the overhead camera here. So you can see what I've done is I've taken just the same design, but just flipped it. And it's the same either way. And I just thought we can personalize with the plate mate from the starter kit. And again, whether you've got the large or the small, this will work perfectly. And if I lift this away from here, you can see I've done some white work, we've added some color, and we've done a little bit of picot cutting as well. So all these skills that we've picked up over the last few, I mean, we're on week 14 now, that we've picked up, we're going to combine to create this bookmark. Now, again, it's entirely up to you. I'm here to give you the guidance on what you can do it and how you can do it. And if you think, okay, I don't want to do a bookmark, you just want to do a little panel as a little topper on a card, you can do that by all means. There's no rules. There's no, I'm not going to sort of come around and sort of say, oh, you've done that wrong. There's no right or wrong. And it's all about just sharing my skills with you, and hopefully they transfer and you can pick up on them and you can interpret them however you want to. It's really, they're just, and this is just using one of the 9 different designs that come on this gorgeous plate. See, where is it here? So the one that we're going to look at here is one that I call the strawberry. But when you look at what I've done, if I bring this in, see, you can see what I've missed out, the little dots in the middle. But if you don't want to do the picot cutting, you can pop those in there. It's entirely up to you. So what we're going to need for this, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to get this ready. We're going to need a couple of strips of parchment. Now, I've taken A5 parchment and I've trimmed it down so that it's 2 inches wide and 8 inches long. Okay. If you want the metric, it's 5 centimeters and it's about 20.5 or 20. You can decide. Okay. So 2 inches by 8 inches. And what that means is it'll fit perfectly with the designer paper in the background when we pop it into our bookmark. So 2 inches that way, 8 inches long, or 5 centimeters across, and I'd say between 20 and 20.5 centimeters. It's entirely up to you. 20.5 centimeters is just a little bit longer than 8 inches, but it will still work. Okay, so we're going to need a couple of pieces of parchment. I'd say 2 pieces like that. We're also going to need the beautiful Paisley plate. We're going to start off with our number 1 and our number 2 tool. Our Groovi guard, which is key, especially when because I'm going to show you how to put a frame around that panel. And then your Groovi tabs. That's all we're really going to need for today's session, because as we know, the hour just flies by. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of minutes just to get those bits together. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll write it on a piece of paper and we'll put it on the overhead so that you can see exactly the size that you need. So I'll write it in. I've only got a red pen here, so apologies for the red pen. So it's 2 inches by 8 inches, and it's 5 centimeters by, say, 20.5 or 20 centimeters. There we go. I'll pop that there so we can see that. And that is our piece of parchment. So we're going to need, I'd say, 2 pieces, one that we can practice on and one that we'll do our best work on. So I hope you all had a good weekend. The weather, I've seen it's raining in places. It was a bit rainy this morning, but that wind is so strong. Nearly blew the house down this morning. Ah, nice sip of coffee. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And what it does, it fits perfectly within our Pergamano bookmark sleeves as well. You can see if I pop that over there, it's just slightly smaller and it's perfect for that. Okay, easy peasy, it really is. And once you get into it, it's great to see so many people on Clarity Worldwide and Groovi Worldwide, what you've been doing over the past couple of weeks with the Groovi system. And for me, it's all about just chilling out, taking it nice and easy. And yeah, it's just, there's no mistakes. You go at your own pace at home. I know a lot of people will listen and tune in and just hear it, and then they'll watch it back later, or they'll have a go and think, right, okay, let's do this bit and try that. So it's just about having a play. If you don't want to do a bookmark, then you could just do it on a normal piece of parchment. I'm here just to give you some guidance on what we can do, but we need something to sort of head towards, don't we? Okay, so I think, what time are we now? Oh, just coming up to 10 past. I think that we're almost ready to go. So I shall have a sip of coffee. Lots to tell you today as well. We've got a one-day special coming up tomorrow at 6 o'clock. From the Linda Williams herself. But I will tease you no more, and we'll have a look at that in more detail later on towards the end of the hour. Okie dokie. So should we get started then? So I've got my panel of parchment. Now what I want to do, if I bring in my little finished piece here that you'll see, I put a border around the outside. And there's a really easy way of doing that. I say easy. Some people will get it straight away, and some people will sort of, you know, it will look a little bit dodgy. But you know what? It's all about practice. And at the end of the day, it's a piece of parchment. So what we're going to do to start with, we're going to bring our plate into play. And we've got these lovely 9 panels, haven't we? We're going to ignore the designs to start with, because what we want to do is we want to put this little frame in. Now you'll notice that the parchment is bigger than the actual panels, okay, but that's easy. All we're going to do, the best thing to do first before you pop it on your plate is wipe it with your tumble dry sheet. Okay, so give it a nice wipe. I'm working on my 12 by 12 super foam, and then we're going to position that so that we've got a little edge at the top and we've got a little edge at the side. Okay, now my Groovi tabs, oh, here they are. I'm going to splash out and go for 2 new Groovi tabs. Okay, so line it up so you've got an equalish, but it hasn't got to be perfect. An equalish border across the top and down the edge of your parchment. Okay, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to turn it this way so it might be a little bit easier for you. And what I'll do, I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so we can come in really close. So let's see if I can get the angle of the zooming in right. Yes, there we go. So you can see how I've got that little edge to my parchment. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my Groovi guard, because this is where the Groovi guard is really sort of key to this. I'm going to take my number 1 tool and I'm going to trace out down this edge here, but I'm not going to go right to the end. So press into the groove and stop about that much away. Okay, then I'm going to turn it, I'll keep it this way. I'm going to come across here. I'm starting away from the edge. I'm not starting in the corner. I'm just starting away from the edge, and I'm not going up to the corner either. The reason being is because sometimes if you go right up to that corner, it can sort of come round a little bit. You get carried away. So we're going to press into there. The same there. Now this one, I'm going to come away from the edge again and go right up to the corner, because this is going to be the top corner. Okay, and this is where the magic happens. Lift off your parchment and then slide it along so that you've got a little border at the edge, just like we did at the top. And what you'll find is that your lines across the top will go into the lines you've just embossed. Okay, so make sure they're all, you'll feel it, they fall back into the groove. And then what we can do, using our Groovi guard again, we can then continue and fill in. So this is where sometimes it can go a little bit, ooh, I've made a mistake, I haven't lined it up properly. But if you practice, then it works, it really does. So we're going to come up there, staying away from the edge again. Come along, just fill in those gaps. Okay. And now what we have is we've got a little border, whoops, around 3 of the sides. Okay. So that's where we're going to sort of start off with. And then we're going to swing it round. And again, this is where you'll find that across this top, if you press it, it just slides in. Oh, can you hear that wind? I don't know if you could, with the microphones picking up the sound of that wind. The studio is right on the corner of the building. Wow. Okay, so once you're happy with your positioning again, hold it down with your Groovi tabs. This is going to be the hardest part of the whole of the project. It really is. But once you've done it a couple of times, it's really easy. So we're going to repeat that process. We're going to stay away from the edge, remember? And then we'll come up to that corner and come round. We're going to come away from the corner there and go along, but don't go up to the corner again. And then we'll slide along and we'll repeat that process along there. Okay? See, that wasn't too bad, was it? So then we're going to repeat that process where we just let it sit in the grooves and we slide it along until this one here on the bottom slots into there. That slots into there. You can just feel it. It's magic. It really is. And then we can complete this corner here. There we go. And by putting this little frame in, what it does, it just gives that little finishing touch to your piece of artwork. There we go. So now when we lift this off, let's pop that down there. And we turn that over. We've now got a little border around all 4 sides. Now it doesn't matter that this bit here is a little bit wider or you've got more parchment. We can always trim that down if we really, really want to. But you know what? In the whole scheme of things, it's not about perfection. I mean, it's nice if it works first time. I've done this a couple of times, so I was glad that it worked. But it's all about, it's a new technique, and it just shows you how you can take a piece of parchment of any size and add a little border around the outside edge. Okay. So I'll leave that there. I'm going to have a sip of coffee, give you a chance just to catch up. So nice to see so many friendly faces in the room, especially after a bank holiday as well. Okay, so while we're waiting for people to catch up on that, we're going to take another piece of the parchment. Okay, what we want to do, it's all about, when I was doing this, I went freestyle, and then afterwards I traced it out and I thought, oh no, it's not right. See, again, this is where the perfectionist sort of comes in, and you think, oh, it's got to be right. It hasn't. I mean, when I say it wasn't right, let me just show you this. Hang on. There's nothing wrong with that at all, right? The only thing was that that is higher than that. And so there's a tip on getting them perfectly in the same line. Where's that one? Where's my piece there? So you can see. See, my line virtually in a straight line, as opposed to not in a straight line, one's higher than the other. Okay, so there's a really easy way of getting the positioning. That's what it's about, really. So if I take another piece of, I'm going to bring in my hard mat now. I take another piece of parchment the same size. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and a white pencil. I have my ruler to hand. And what I want to do is I want to find the middle. Let me zoom back out again. Whee! Up and down like a yo-yo. So I'm going to go out a little bit. There we go. That should do it. So what I want to do is I want to find the middle of this piece. Now I can do it directly onto the piece that I'm working on, or I can use this as a template. So we said this was 5 centimeters. So the middle of that is going to be 2.5 centimeters. So I'm just going to put a little mark there. And then if you're using the 2 inches, then it's 1 inch. Okay. And we'll put that little line there. And then all we're going to do is just draw a line down the center. And this is going to be sort of like our template, our guide for our positioning. Okay, so all we're doing, a bit blurry there. Same piece of parchment. You could do it direct onto your piece if you want to, or you can do it on your spare piece. Okay, whoops, way tilting my head forward there. So let's pop that out the way now. So what we should have now is a piece with a line on, and our piece with the frame. Okay. How are we all doing? Does that, I hope I haven't confused you. Again, if you don't want to put the frame around the outside, you don't have to. If you're really sort of struggling, you think, oh, this isn't working. I've gone through 2 bits of parchment now. Don't worry. It's just a little tip, just to show that how you can add a frame. And I remember Barb doing this years and years ago when we first brought out the Groovi system. And back then we only had the nested squares, and we wanted, a piece Barb was working on was a rectangle, and we hadn't brought out the nested rectangle Groovi plate then because it was so new. And so Barb worked out by doing it and sliding it along and moving it down that you could create a square, a bigger square. You could do a rectangle of any size, so which is great for the bookmarks if you want to get that little edge to it. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring our plate back into play. Now you can choose any of the 9 different designs on there. All you need to make sure is that they're going to fit within your design. Okay. So, for example, that one works. This one here. That one works. That one works to just about. So they're all going to do. This one here, you'd have to lose one side of it. So you decide on which one. But the one, just to keep it nice and easy, I really like this strawberry one. So I thought this was the one that we're going to go with. Okay. So when we bring in my piece that I've done, if I turn it over, let's do this one that I've sort of just traced out. So you can see when we're tracing it out, we're going to do some white work in areas. Okay, so I'm really going to zoom in on this now so you can see the difference of where I've used the number 1 tool and the number 2 tool. So there we go, we'll let that come in real close. Okay, so what I decided that I wanted to do was, we can see the difference. It looks really grainy in areas, and that's because when I've traced out, I've used the number 2 tool, which has that little ball on the end, and what that means, it doesn't go into the groove as far, so it gives you that softer line, so that when you come to break it down and you do your white work, you don't get that harsh edge around the outside. Okay, so again, if we look at the areas where I've done my white work, which is those pointy little bits on the design, the little bits in the middle, the dots, the beautiful part up here, and this bit in here, these are the bits we're going to trace out with our number 2 tool. The rest of it, we're going to trace out with the number 1. Now, depending on the word you want to put inside, I've gone nice and easy. I've gone for sun, 3 letters, but, and I've gone this way. What is it? Horizontal. But if you wanted to, you can go vertical. Let me zoom out again on that one. So I'm going to zoom out. Okay, I don't want to zoom out too quick, make it all too seasick. Ooh. So I've done mine vertical, but if you notice the difference between there, what I've done is I haven't put the little dots on. That's missing from there. So if you want to go nice and simple and just do, you could do mum, you could do dad, you could do a name. It's all about using the letter boxes that are on the plate mates. Do you remember? Okay, look. Just the 3, that's it, 3 boxes there, does sun, nice and easy. So what we'll do, we'll keep it simple, and we're going to go with this one here. Okay, nice and easy. So hopefully I haven't confused everyone there, because I think I confused myself a little bit. Right. Okay, where's that plate gone? Oh, so much stuff on this desk. So as I said, this is the one we're going to look at, but you can decide. It's the same principle, but you can decide exactly which one you want to go with. Now, where's that piece gone? Here we go. So we're still working on the back, and what I want is I want this part to be towards the middle. So I can sort of eyeball it and say, right, okay, I reckon that's roughly in the middle. Or is it? So this is where our little template comes into play. If we pop that over the top, okay, let me zoom in. I'm going to zoom in yet again, just so we can really focus on this area. There we go. So if I lay that on the top, we can see it's not exactly right in the middle. So I can swing that round so that the design underneath is now central. And if I lift that one off, I'm just going to move it over slightly. There we go. I'm going to take my Groovi tabs, tape it down here, and we'll tape it down. Whoops, moved a little bit. There we go. That'll do. We're going to tape it down there. So that means that this area here should be central to our bookmark. Okay. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to use the number 2 tool to trace out all the areas where I want to do the white work in. So again, you can decide. You you become the designer. If you want to do white work here, white work there, you may decide you want to do these lovely leaves all in white work. And you may find that by doing the number 2 tool will give you that softer edge to give it more of a natural look. So for the first one, I'm using the number 2 tool. I'm going to do the top of that one. Then I'm going to move down and I'm going to do this one. Then I'm going to do all of the little dots within here. So just go in there. You'll need to go a little bit slowly because we're using the number 2 tool. It has a little ball on the end. And if you go too fast, especially in a small area, it can jump out. But it doesn't matter at this point because we haven't traced anything else out. So we're going to go along and we're just going to follow that, all those little dots, all the way around. So I'm starting from the inside and I'm working my way around the outside. Okay. Then I'm going to do this little piece here. And now what I'm going to do for the rest of it is I'm going to do these little bits in here in each of the little areas because we're going to turn these into white work nice and slowly. See, it's so too fast. All the way around, and then we'll come over to this side, just like that. So if you get into the habit of doing the embossing parts of where you want to do your white work first, then you find it easy, because I always get carried away. Do you get carried away when you're tracing it out and you just go along and you think, oh, I wanted to do that in white work, but I've done it with the number 1 tool now. And you can still do the white work, it can just change the look of it. So I'm happy with all the areas now. No, I'm not. Actually, I want to do these little pointy bits. Oh, see, talking and getting carried away. So we're going to do all the little pointy bits as well. I love this. This is great for men's cards, for women's cards. I had to check my shirt again today to see whether I was wearing Paisley, but no, I've got lovely roses on today. And we're going to just follow those around. See? Easy peasy. As I say, if you do the ones with the number 2 tool first, and it just makes it so that you don't make, when I say a mistake, it's not a mistake really, is it? If you've gone in with the number 1 and number 2, it will just look slightly different. So now if I lift that up away from the plate, let me get a piece of black card and just pop it underneath so we can sort of see. So that's what we should end up with using our number 2 tool. Okay, I mean, that looks quite nice as it is, doesn't it? Looks like, it reminds me of, I don't know why I'm seeing a hedgehog. Maybe I've had too much coffee or maybe not enough coffee. Okay. See, nice and easy. I'll give you a chance just to catch up. But it really does make a difference from using the number 1 tool and using the number 2 tool. Where was that one that I traced out? I hadn't done anything on. Here we go, look. You can see that the lighter areas, let me just bring that down a bit. The lighter areas here, which is the number 2 tool. I mean, it doesn't look odd at this point in time because we haven't introduced the number 1 tool. Okay, so if I now remove that piece of card, that just pops back into place. Okay, and now we're going to use the number 1 tool. There we go, the number 1 tool, and we're going to trace out the rest of our artwork. Now, I haven't done the line in the middle because I chose to picot cut the middle of that section out. Where's that piece? See, I chose to to pico cut this bit out because I thought that was a nice little bit to do. And again, I've done this bit as well. But if you're not into your pico cutting, then it's up to you if you want to put the line in and if you want to put all the little dots in. Entirely up to you. So we'll start with the number 1 tool and we're going to press in and just trace out the rest of our design. Now, if you do that and then you decide later on you want to pico cut it out, that's fine. You can still do that. I love these. Remind me like little cloud leaves. Really gorgeous. So these would be nice just in corners. So we're just using the number 1 tool, and then I'm going to pop the outline in first. There we go. So use your Groovi guard straight up to the towel. Let's do this little leaf while we're here. Leaf it out if you want to. Oh, that was sad. Then we're going to come along and we're going to trace out the inner one. And then I'm not thinking about what I'm tracing out. All I'm thinking about is where I need to trace out. This could be any particular design. So now I'm going to go around and do this area here. I mean, I've done this several times now, just until I was happy in relation to my layout. And it's all about just sort of playing with a piece of, if you've got an idea in your head and you think, you know what, I want to do this, don't do all the detail, just outline the shape of it. And if it works, then you can go, right, okay, well that works. Keep that piece to practice on and then go in and do it from scratch. So Groovi guard really does make a difference. Okay, so now you can see it's starting to take shape. So again, at this point, if I pop that underneath there, so we can see the difference now, can't we? Where we've gone in with the number 1 tool and where we've used the number 2 tool, because it's a softer line. We'll pop that out and then we'll carry on. Now, these areas here, I want to do in white work, so I forgot. I want to do these in the number 2 tool. So if you've done it in the number 1, don't start shouting at the screen saying, oh, I've done that already. Doesn't matter, it will still work. I'd forgotten about those bits. Then back into the number 1 and trace out the strawberry. So if you don't want to do your pico cutting, you could do all those little dots if you want to. It's entirely up to you. Okay. Just follow it through. And then I think it's just brilliant how we can break down the design and use it. I mean, we're using the whole design on this particular project, but remember those bits that I showed earlier where you can just take the different areas. So I mean, if you wanted to do this as a coaster, that'll fit perfectly within a coaster. Probably get 2 in there as well, sort of top and tail, a bit of like yin and yang. Okay, so I think I'm all done. So if I turn that over now and we have a look, so if I pop that on there, so you can see now, probably too much of a glare. I wonder if I come in on this camera and hold it up. I think there might be just too much of a glare. Oh no, there we go. We can see it more at an angle. The difference between the light and the bright. Okay. I've just seen a comment at the bottom from the lovely Jane Telford. Sounds like Clarity Towers has ghosties. Yes, it's definitely the wind outside. It really is. Say that my studio that I'm working within is right on the corner of the building, so it's getting it from both directions. Okay, so have you done that bit, or are you still having a go? That's fine, there's no rush, there really isn't. It's all about taking your time. I mean, don't forget, I've done this 4 times till I was happy that I got it right, and you're doing this for the first time, so don't worry and think, oh, I've got to get it. You haven't. You should really see what I did before I got what I was happy with. So again, if it's not lined up perfect, if it's off to the an angle, if you've got the Paisley in the opposite direction, it still works. It will just look, it's unique. And that's what the Groovi system can do. You can take it and you can, I mean, some of you at home may have gone with other designs on the plate as well, and they'll all look completely different. Even if you follow me step by step by step by step, they will all look different, because you would have done maybe this little bit different. You may have decided, oh, I don't want that bit around the outside. And that's great, because that's what it's all about. It's all about sort of enjoying it. Don't think, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to. It's not a chore. It's here for you to enjoy and interpret how you wish. It really is. I'm not going to come around and say, oh, you've done that wrong, and that's like 5 mil off. It doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't. So how are we doing for time? 22 already. Wow. Okay. So what we're going to do now is, remember how we've taken this here, and we're going to do the second one. But look, I can see straight away. You can't. But if I bring that in, I've got enough room on here. See, I can see straight away. Look, that's not lined up. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, but that's where that piece of parchment that comes in to line it up. You see? So now I can take my parchment, I can lay it over the top, I can look at that straight line, and I can decide, he says all fingers and thumbs. Okay, so that's about there. Swivel it around a little bit. Am I in the middle? Turn it a little bit more. And I reckon I'm good to go about there. So I'm going to hold that in place again. Tape that down. And then we're going to repeat that process again. So we're going to do the number 2 tool first. And we're going to do those same areas again. So it's a little piece on top, the little dew drop in the middle. Then I'm going to do all the little circles around the outside. Now I'm going to go a little bit faster because time is just crazy. It really is. And what I want to do, I really want to show you the 1-day special that's coming up tomorrow. So if I go a little bit faster whilst you're doing your second piece, then I can show you what Linda Williams has come up with. Okay. So we're going to do these ones here again. Follow this area here. Now, what other bits were we going to do? Ah, yes. We're going to do the little bits within there. Blimey, that wind. It sounds a lot worse than what it is. I mean, it's windy, but it does sound a lot worse. Oh, dear. There we go. Look at this. It doesn't take long to bring it all together. And because we're doing these little bite-sized pieces, it's great for practicing on your white work, your picot cutting. I mean, it was great to see that so many people that have never done picot cutting before, and they created those little crosses. And to create those little crosses, and now they've got the confidence to go in and do picot cutting in other areas. It's great. It really is. So gonna do all the little pointy bits, the little leaves. I think that's what they are, little leaves. And then around this side. So again, we're still doing the number 2 work. Put all that in place first. Okay. And the Groovi guard. Really does help. Because again, you can use it, because it's got these lovely little apertures in it, you can use it to focus on different areas as well. I mean, that virtually fits in there, doesn't it? Miss that one there with the number 2. So I think that's all the pieces I want to do with my number 2 tool. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to slurp that coffee. And then I'm going to go to the number 1, and then we're going to do the crisp white lines. Okay. So I wonder whether I'm doing it in the... See, again, I don't really look at where I start and where I finish, so to speak. Wherever the tool lands, I go. Now we can go all the way around there. Hey, don't jump out the line, Paul. Slow it down. Slow it down. There we go. Nice and easy. It's not a rush. And you can just go. See, for me, the magic with the parchment is that you can see exactly where you've been and where you still need to go. Because where it's stretched, it goes whiter. And that's the magic of the parchment. So done there. And then whee, slow down. Hope I'm not going too fast. But I just thought a bookmark would be a great little project, because we've done a coaster, haven't we? And we did a picture frame with our lovely, where we took our inspiration from Linda, where we did the beautiful butterfly of the picot cutting. So if you don't want to personalize it, you don't have to. You can just, you could put another beautiful Paisley just in the middle if you want to. It's all about having that choice. But I also think it's great, also this one. I think I may do it on my final one, but we'll come to that at a later date, where that beautiful embossed plate from Josie, those patterns on them, we could infill the background if we chose to with the designs. But then if you think, oh, it may be a bit busy, you don't want to do that. Okay, let's have a look now. So if I turn this over, let's just pop that just down there, just like that. Now you may find that your parchment will curve, because I know when I was doing mine really did. There we go, look, as if by magic. So what I did was I did this part, and then I just put it under some heavy books for a day, and then went back to it. And it's not going to damage the embossed lines, but what it will do, because my pieces were literally, they were going like this, because the heat from my hand caused the parchment to curl up. So I just put it between 2 bits of copy paper, put it in a heavy book, and it flattened it out nicely. I mean, see again, but there we go. See, this is the piece that we're heading towards. And it's still not perfect, but at the end of the day, it's going to go in that bookmark sleeve. So that's going to keep it flat anyway, and it's going to keep it protected. But this would be lovely just as a simple card as well. Don't necessarily have to have it as a bookmark. And let's say this area in the middle, it's entirely up to you whether you want to personalize it. You could do with love. See, with love would fit on there perfectly. Maybe I'll do with love on this one. I have to remember. Let me write that down. Otherwise I'll forget come next week. So let me see, what am I writing? Sentiment, bookmark. I have to make notes, otherwise I'll forget. Bookmark with love. And these, did you see Barb's TV shows on Sunday? She was using the letterbox stamp version of this on those gorgeous owls stamped on parchment. If you missed that, that was Sunday's blog. Barb's blog on Sunday, she did a beautiful project where she stamped onto Toscana parchment, the designer parchment, which we've still got on offer. If you go to the website and go to the designer parchment section, there's still £10 off on the designer parchment, all of them. You've got Toscana, Indian Summer, I was about to say Indian Falls, Indian Summer, Rainbow River, Shenandoah. So, and have a look at Barb's blog from Sunday, which she posted after the TV shows. And she used those letterboxes, the stamp version, but she could have easily have used the Groovi version because she was working with parchment. See, that's where you got the crossover with the stamping, the parchment and the Groovi. You can combine both together to create a fantastic project. So while we're sort of having a bit of a catch up, let me show you. I'm so excited about this. So tomorrow on the craft store, formerly known as Hochanda, I have the pleasure and the honor of launching a brand new one-day special at 6 p.m. designed by the lovely Linda Williams. And it is gorgeous. It's called It's a Wrap Part 3. And those of you, I know hundreds and thousands of you out there have got Part 1 and Part 2. So this is Part 3. So I'm going to come in on the overhead. I'm going to zoom out ahead of it because these are absolutely gorgeous. So let me come out so we can get a real, hey, there we go. Let's pop that to one side. Do I show you the plates or do I show you, I'm going to show you the plates first. Okay, so we've got 3 A4 plates, all created by the lovely Linda Williams. This is the hummingbird and the magnolia plate. It's a Wrap Part 3. So you can see you've got beautiful sections. You've got different flaps to create sort of like envelopes. You've got corners. I love this. This would work fantastic on a bookmark. This would work nice on a bookmark. On a coaster, look at the intricacy. You've got all your instructions written on there, where to fold and everything else. And then you get an ideas and inspiration sheet that comes with it. So you can show different things to do. So we've got that one there. Then we have, it's a dragonfly gatefold. Look at this, you've got beautiful little dragonflies. You've got this beautiful, you've got all these different flaps and elements to it. You've got borders, you've got corners. And again, you've got some inspiration sheet that Linda's come up with, some different designs of where you could just bring them together. I mean, look at them. Absolutely gorgeous. See? So that one there is using that one. You've got this one here, which is this one here. Oh, see, again, the versatility of the Groovi plates allows you to create, and you've got the shape of the card just here. Then the third one in the collection is the lovely butterflies. So this is the trifold. So again, you've got some beautiful verses on there from Linda. Look at these, look at the butterflies that we've been using in the Groovy Tuesday. You could do the same with these as well. You can transfer those skills. Okay, so you've got the 3 different, these are A4 plates, 3 plates. And again, you've got ideas and inspiration as well from the lovely Linda, the different decorating idea, changing the borders. I mean, look at that. And they're not just for It's a Wrap. You can do these as normal cards as well. You can take the elements. I mean, I think these corners, that like filigree, they're so intricate. Okay, so we've got that. So now I'm going to show you some artwork. Oh, in addition to those, I haven't finished there. In addition to that, as part of the one-day special, we've started doing our card blanks. So Linda worked very closely with Mr. Dave, and you're going to get 3 of each of the different card blanks in with the one-day special as well. Okay, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And you're going to get the little, we've recently started doing these little stands. You're going to get those as well. And you think, oh, why do I want little stands? Well, let me show you this artwork, and I'm going to zoom in now. These are beautiful pieces that the lovely Linda has created herself. And I'm going to be taking you through them over 5 hours on the craft store while stocks last. Okay, look at this. So you've got the beautiful butterflies, so that when you open it up, look, here's the card blanks. Woo, focus. I better bring that one back in. Coming too close. Okay, so you've got that gorgeous one in, that beautiful. And you know what? Everyone that's in the Groovy Tuesday gang, you can do this. You really can. Because the way in which Linda's designed them, even if you're not into your picot cutting, because these, obviously Linda's done them, so they're picot cut. You can do it without picot cutting. Everything. I'm looking at this card here, and everyone in this room at the moment will be able to achieve this. You really, really can. So we've got that beautiful piece there. Look at this. Wow. Madness. Absolutely. Look at the white work. And we will get to doing white work like this during the Groovy Tuesday. It just, look at, don't they look real? They look porcelain, sort of absolutely gorgeous. And that hummingbird, wow. I just can't believe. And again, as I say, everyone in the room at the moment can definitely create these pieces. Oh, and then look at this one. Look at the colours on this. Absolutely gorgeous. And you've got the lovely gatefold card blank inside as well. And it just helps. I mean, you don't have to use the card blanks, but look at that. Let me zoom out a little bit. I love the colours on this. This is just absolutely gorgeous. And we were talking about those lovely little card stands, so that if you were sending it to someone, what they can do, I'm going to bring it up to the side. What you can do is you pop it on the stand and it acts as a display, so that whoever receives it can pop it onto their shelf and it'll be there for a long time. So it's and you can decorate these as well. But look, I love it. The zestiness, the camera really doesn't do it any justice. This is so bright. Okay, and as I say, I'm not just saying it because everyone that's in the room at the moment can do this. They're absolutely amazing. And I'm going to have the pleasure and the honor of showcasing these, which launches tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the craft store, which was Hochanda. And yeah, I've got the lovely Paola presenting with me for the 6 o'clock launch. So we're going to have lots of fun. But absolutely good. So if you've got one, you've got It's a Wrap 2, then this is the next one. And you'll notice, I mean, It's a Wrap 2, that was more about the pockets and the envelopes. So if you missed out on all of the previous collections, you can obviously check out our website now because we've got them available. Or you can tune in on tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. And we'll be showcasing some beautiful artwork from Linda, from the design team, just to show the different things. And it's all about the coloured parchment. It really is. The coloured parchment makes a big difference to the design. And you think, but how can it really, I mean, well, I just showed you those three pieces. We had pink, we had blue, and we had that beautiful zesty color. You imagine doing all of those in the same color tones, how gorgeous that would look. So I can't believe the hour is almost up. So let's have a look at what we've been doing during this hour. But I knew I'd run out of time, and I just really wanted to showcase that, because I was just blown. When I got the samples from Linda, I was just blown away. So this is where we're heading, and this is what we've done over the course of the past hour. And some of you would have done that, and some of you think, right, I'm going to go away and do it. I'm not going to do any more to this because we're doing this in real time. So next week when we come back, we're going to really have a close look at doing the white work, and we're going to build it up into sections. Okay. And again, if you haven't gone for a bookmark, if you want to pop a little sentiment in the middle, then don't forget, make a little template on a scrap of parchment and see whether it will fill in. See, I was going to go with love. So WITH. So I would get that one in there. And then if I put love, that will come in just down there. See, so it will fit as well. So this is where you decide whether you want to pop anything in the middle or leave it blank, or maybe use one of the other elements from the design plate. You've got 9 different ones to choose from. You may decide that you want to just put a little row of hearts in there, or you want to put some of those lovely leafy flourishes. See, look, you could even do that and join that up with it. So maybe have a play on a spare bit of parchment and think, oh, I wonder what it would look like with this. I wonder what it would look like with that. You may have enjoyed this and thought, right, I like this. I'm going to try doing the same thing with one of the other designs. But really, for me, it was all about putting that frame today. It was all about putting the frame around that piece of parchment. If you've got the nested squares, you can do it because the nested squares won't have the gaps in between. But I was just going with the plate that we had in front of us just to show how you can adapt it and change what you can do with it. So just because there's 9 little boxes doesn't mean they have to stay 9 little boxes. So you could do a nice panel card and you could continue those lines down as well, like make a nice DL card with those 3 panels on there. It's all about just having a play and see what you come up with. So next week, we'll maybe put a sentiment in if we choose to, but we're going to concentrate on the white work. So for those of you that missed out at the beginning, if you're thinking, oh, I forgot to write down what it was, what you need is a piece of parchment that measures either 2 inches by 8 inches or 5 centimeters by about 20.5 or 20 centimeters long. That's the perfect size for it to fit into the bookmark sleeves, which we have. These are the Pergamano bookmark sleeves, and the 8x8 designer paper. Okay, so thank you for Stuart for helping out in the room today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, this is available on YouTube afterwards. So if you've missed out or you've come in halfway, then it's available to watch on our YouTube channel. And so I'm on TV tomorrow. Yep, 6 o'clock Wednesday. I keep thinking today's Monday. Tomorrow night at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Then on Thursday at 8 AM, 12 PM and 4 PM, stock permitting. I've got a couple of more shows on the craft store on Saturday. Barb will be back with you in the Shack on Monday at 10 o'clock. And I think she's getting the bus reloaded. She's giving it a bit of an overhaul and working out where you're going to go on your next journey. So thank you for joining me. Thanks for crafting along and taking part. And I will see you back again next Tuesday for another Groovy Tuesday in the Shack at 10 o'clock. Take care and stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.